So by now you've had a good look around CowProfits. You've done some planning, you've looked at the case study, and you've got a pretty good idea about how you want to proceed. So the first thing you want to do is get in and configure CowProfits. And by that I mean set it up so that you can do your own analysis on your own data. So the first thing you're going to do is go up to the top menu, File, and then click on New. And I'm going to flip over now to the program and we'll follow that through. So File, New, and then CowProfits is going to ask you if you want to save your current file. And this time I'm going to say no. And up comes the info screen, and you can see how it's laid out. The first tab is the information screen where you'll put in your name, address if you like, a business name, and so on. Across the top then are the different enterprises you may want to configure in your analysis. So let's look at the info screen first. You don't really need to fill all of this in. You can if you like, especially if these statements are going to go to someone else. But it's quite important that you put something into the cell here that says business name. And I'm going to put in JJD Cattle Company. And that's because whatever goes in this business name cell is going to show up on all of your statements. So you might want to get something in there that really represents your business. And the second one that is mandatory is to get in and put in the fiscal year end, because CowProfits needs to know what year that it's analyzing. And so I'm going to assume that it's going to be December 31st of 2015, and so I'll choose December 31st. So that's as much of the info screen that we really need to do. Now we can go along and look at the enterprises. Cow-calf, well, John and Jane Doe have only one cow-calf enterprise, and so I'm going to call it JJD Cows. And feeders will be the same, and I'll call it JJD Feeders. And now forage, they have one forage enterprise, but you'll find now that it needs an enterprise name. We're going to call it JJD Forage, but it also needs to have the crops that you're growing in that forage enterprise. And in this case, they only have one, and it will be alfalfa brome. You can go all the way up to 9 crops, but again, try to minimize the numbers. Pasture, all we need is an enterprise name. We'll call it JJD Pasture. And they don't have a grain operation, but we could put one in. They don't have a straw operation nor an other operation, and we'll talk about these other enterprises in subsequent videos. So that's completed the configuration. We can go back and review it all you like. We can go back and review the info, the cow-calf, the feeders, the forage, and so on. And once it's all done, we'll say save configuration, and it will suggest that we give it a name in your default directory, and we'll call this JJD Analysis. And then we'll save that. And so now this file now is JJD Analysis. That's your new file where you will start doing your own analysis within CowProfits. One thing that I'll mention is that when you name your enterprises, try to keep the names fairly short, because you can see if you have quite a few enterprises and this gets too wide, you're going to find yourself scrolling back and forth. So make sure you make your enterprise names fairly small. You can adjust the column widths a certain amount, and so that can help you keep the screen quite narrow and workable. Okay, you're all ready to go, and that will be the topic of the next video, is starting to enter your information into the program.